Oh.
Well, good morning, everyone. What an exciting day. We have our own CSL movie star with us. If you've seen some of us hugging this beautiful lady up here, Luana, she was a minister here, practitioner here, moved to Hawaii, bang, minister, marries people on the beach every weekend, and has a beautiful home and a wonderful family, and we're shocked to see her, and we're very happy. It's on a 3-day road trip. So, Luana, we love you. It's very special. All right. But you're special, too. Okay. We lit our new minister candle here over by the bell. We are still looking for a new minister, so Reverend Sue can retire. And we know they're on their way. Luana, hey, here's an opening here. Anyway, don't tempt. Okay, that sounds good. And if you're new with us today, and I know we have several people that are new, we welcome you, and a whole row of great kids in the back. And we inspire and empower people to live spiritually fulfilling lives. And that's what all our classes are about, and what all our talks are about. And I think we do it really well. And so if you're new, just sit back and enjoy, because I know Sue's message this morning will be great. All right. We had a number of people come early today. Lindy and Joey in the sound booth, and Linda Mitchell is the board member. And the kitchen cookies have already been here and set up for after service, so that'll be fun. And Doug and Ronnie are at the door greeting people. And they're all very loyal people. We love them. Then we have the 360 band. Whoa. Yay. And Judy, our pianist, she'll be doing the children's song. So we're really glad we're all together this morning. So as the children come forward. Oh, why do I forget that? Because you've been singing. Okay. The 360 band's opening song.
And for our opening song, I've got another little story to tell you. It goes like this. Well, I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from its slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise,
he did the mash.
He did the monster mash.
He did the mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
He did the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
He did the mash.
He did the monster mash. Well, from my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast, the ghouls all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt from my electrode.
They did the mash.
They did the monster mash.
They did the mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
They did the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
They did the mash.
They did the monster mash. Well, the scene was all rockin'. All were digging the sounds. Igor on chains, backed by his band hounds. Coffin bangers were about to arrive with the vocal group, the Crypt Kicker
They
Five.
played the mash.
They played the monster mash.
They played the mash.
It was a graveyard
They
smash.
played the mash.
It caught on in a
They
flash.
played the mash.
They played the monster mash. Well, out from his coffin, Drax's voice did ring. Seems he was troubled by just one thing. He opened the lid, shook his fist, and said, "Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?"
They played the mash.
They played the monster mash.
It's now the mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
It's now the mash.
It caught on in a
It's
flash.
now the mash.
It was a monster mash.
Oh.
Well, everything's cool. Drax part of the band. My monster mash is the hit of the land. For you, the living, this mash was meant to. For you, my door, tell 'em Boris sent you.
Then you can mash.
Then you can monster mash.
Then you can mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
Then you can mash.
Oh, it caught on in a flash.
Then you can mash.
It was a monster mash.
Oh.
Oh, oh, ah. The monster mash.
I wouldn't want to miss that for anything. That was awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Whew. There we go. It's so interesting. I've only been doing this 30 years, and I get confused. I don't know. Because I have to tell you who I am. I'm Reverend Mary Mitchell, Reverend Dr. Mary Mitchell, and I'm not a full-time minister anymore, but I do practitioner work and teach classes here. And I love this place. It's my home among homes, so I'm just happy to be here. If you're new and you'd like a tour, we've got a cottage, a labyrinth, a meditation pavilion afterwards. Just do like Susan did. I said, just come up and say, I want a tour, and I'll be happy to take you on one. And that's what she did. All right, we're going to invite the children up, and as they come up, Lindy's going to pan the camera so you can turn around and wave to everybody around the world who's watching us this morning. We're all okay from the Monster Mash. Come on, kids. Oh, you look cute. All right. That's Charlotte Garland's delightful grandchildren, brother and sister, and he sings that to her every Sunday. It's right in her face. So cute. Cute. All right. I would like to thank the members of the team that are already here, but especially our practitioners. And we have Shirley, and we have Christy, and myself, and we'll be up by the bell afterwards. If you would like an affirmative prayer, we call it spiritual mind treatment, because sometimes we just need a treatment, a good healing. But it's affirmative prayer. It's very, very beautiful. All right, if you would silence your cell phones, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. And then Nadine, we have a testimony from you this morning, because right now we are in our stewardship program for 2024 and inviting people to commit to however many dollars you can for the congregation for the new year. And we like to hear from people like Nadine on why she comes here. Nadine.
Hello. So, my path that brought me here, trying to grow myself up. I was born and raised in Oroville, moved to LA for a while after college, trying to figure out what to do and be and heal my inner discomforts. And there was a energy healer person I did some workshops with, and I said, but I'm moving to Reading to go to nursing school. Is there anybody up there to study with? And she said, you could go get the principles from religious science or Unity, and so that's what I did. Back in '84, I went to Lady Lorenz, and the opening song, I can still be touched by that. It's in every one of us. And it was all I could do not to cry. Back, well, how many years is that? That's like 39 years? Yeah, I mean, it's a long time ago. But it was like I had shut myself off from religion. The church I'd kind of gone to a little bit as a kid. When I went to a class, I kind of thought the minister said something bigoted, and and then all these other churches with all these, and nothing appealed to me about church. But here I started going to the classes and doing retreats, which were amazing and transforming, and going to nursing school. But one of the things back in those early days, they started the pledge program, and even though I didn't have lots of money, I joined because it's like you support what supports you. And so I started, not terribly disciplined about it all. And I took classes, and I almost became a practitioner, and decided, no, that wasn't for me. And through exposure to different teachers and the thought and books and ideas and doing different workshops with different people, my goal is to grow myself, evolve myself, be more true, and get less funky and irritated at stupid stuff, and less sucked into things that seem so overwhelming, the news, but where you don't have to dive in and dissolve. So, work in progress here. I think there's something else I wanted to say, but I don't write it down, because one of the recent people I'd taken an online course from is Michael Beckwith, and about visioning and being in the flow, and one technique that he teaches is emotion-backed affirmation, which I found really useful. I am mostly retired, but this month I filled in at cardiac rehab, outpatient, and it had been a long time since I've been there much, so you start to forget things, and you get anxious because, oh my God, am I going to do it and stuff. And in the morning in the car on the way, it's like, okay, God, I know you're there with me, and no matter how anxious I feel, and I just take my time in my closed car, speaking and emoting and knowing the truth that God is all there is, right here, right now, with me, in front of you all. Oh my God, here we are. And so it is.
I remember those early emotions, powerful. They never leave you. They never leave you. Thank you, Nadine. All right, focus announcements, and we got a lot of them, so I'm not going to spend much time, and they're in your program. So the Fall Bazaar for Goods and Services is happening in the foyer, so take a look there. I've already bid on 5 things. Christy Carr has a wonderful beading class, and it's now on Friday, November 3rd, from 1 to 4, and she supplies all the beads, and they make beautiful, beautiful jewelry. The Music Jam, led by Michael Harris and Shem Smith, Friday, November 3rd, 7 to 8:30. For those of you that are new, people bring their drums or whatever they want to bang on or play, and including clapping hands, form a huge circle in here and just play automatic music that it just blows your mind how beautiful it is. So it's a lot of fun. 7 to 8:30, Friday, November 3rd. Daylight savings time, November 5th. So we're going to be turning the clocks back next Sunday. And where's Charlie? Charlie. Also, we have Gong Meditation Sunday, November 5th with Joan Richards. That's 5:30 to 6:30, and Charlie has a special announcement.
Good morning. So you may have seen these pigs sitting around the sanctuary and in the back. So what that's all about is we have an endowment fund here at the center, and it's a fund that grows, the principal grows, and we take advantage of the earnings from that principal to invest in projects around the center. And so I'm going to read to you a few of those projects, that we've are granted for 2024. But just to let you know that next Sunday, and we're going to have the 360 band there with us, is our annual Piggy Reunion. So another way of funding the endowment fund is by filling these piggy banks. So every penny, every nickel, every quarter counts. And some people stuff dollar bills, and you can even put a $100 check in there if you want. But there are ways to. So what's really fun is we get together for this breakfast, and the endowment committee puts on the breakfast. So there's sausages and pancakes and drinks, and like I said, we're going to have the 360 band playing. And so it's a really fun way of honoring and supporting the endowment fund. But just to let you know that for 2024, we had enough earnings. We don't spend the principal for the endowment fund, only the earnings. So 2024, we had grants of $13,092. And where that went was floor and carpet cleaning, security cameras, internet upgrade for the entire center. We did a major upgrade to 6G, to higher grade cable, and a much faster, robust speed throughout the entire complex. New speakers for the sanctuary, they're still going to be put in to make the sound more even across the entire audience. A new FM receiver for audiovisual that is in the sound booth. CPR training for leadership. Shelving and storage for the children's church, a new storage in the kitchen, and outreach with puppets, which is kind of a fun thing. You'll see more of that later. But that's where the grant money went for 2023. And so it's pretty exciting. But we invite you all to attend the breakfast next week, hear the 360 band, and just join in community and have a lot of fun. So thank you.
I remember the year that Dr. James, he was the minister at that time, said we're going to start an endowment fund, and we're not going to spend the principal, just the interest. And when it reaches $50,000, we'll spend the interest begin. And Diana, when did that end?
It's been about 20 years ago.
That we hit that, and
Started about 13 years ago, spending a little bit of interest, and it's grown and grown and grown. And I think these grants have paid for $135,000 worth of improvements in our centers over that.
it's awesome. It's awesome. She's the lead for that. Huh? It's fabulous. All right. The Gong meditation, I mentioned that. All right, prayers and meditations of Yogananda. Reverend Sue has been doing this for years. Tuesday, November 7th, 7 to 8 p.m. I do a caregiver support group, which is one reason why I retired from full-time ministry, now taking care of my husband. And so I have a caregiver support group, second Thursday of the month. It'll be November 9th, and it's 10 to noon. And it's amazing how comforting it is to share with others some of the things that you only know as a caregiver that you do. And last time we were laughing so hard, I don't know, something that you don't think about, but we just had a blast. Anyway, and I always give them homework. They like that. All right, Jill Matthews does Awakening to Oneness with Life, Thursday, November 9th, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., practicing meditation and mindfulness techniques. Reverend Sue's famous women's retreat is called a Consciousness Tune-Up. That is at St. Rita's Retreat Center in Medford, Oregon, Friday through Sunday, November 10th through the 12th, limited to 29 women. How are we doing on that?
We are full right
Full,
now.
okay.
But people are welcome to call me in the office to see if we've got any last minute cancellations.
Okay, great. Lori is our administrative assistant, runs the office. Okay, that sounds good. Now we have a reading by Lori. And then Christy will ring the bell 3 times. And the purpose of that is to just take in the reading. Just let that touch your heart. Just sit with it as you hear the sound of the bell. And then I'll do a spiritual mind treatment, our form of affirmative prayer. And then Reverend Sue. So, Lori?
So this is the reading chosen by Reverend Sue this morning. It's by Mark Nepo. It is the simplest of paradoxes. You can't see what you are in. As soon as you try, you are no longer in it. This is the trap of self-consciousness. You can't see the ocean when you are in the ocean. You can't see the bird flying if you are the bird flying. You can't see how the lungs work when you are struggling to breathe, nor the contours of the path when you are breaking a trail. Only looking back can we make sense of what has unfolded. Looking forward, we can only open our heart like a fire to the sky and live. And this is a question to walk with. Describe a trail you have taken or made in your life and what it looks like, looking back. What do you see now that you didn't see when you were in the middle of it?
There is only one infinite intelligence that has many names. But it's the one creative energy that has created all, and that includes each one of us. We are all creations of the one, brothers and sisters to each other in our spiritual nature. And as we look around the world today and see how difficult it is for so many, when we can bless them as being our brothers and sisters, pray for them, thank good for them, know there's always an answer to any question. There's always a solution to any argument. But we look deep within and we follow our spiritual awakening. We follow our spiritual understanding that we're all in this together. And so in our diversity, we see infinite expressions of creativity. And when we sit together, we feel that oneness. So I give great thanks for just being here this morning, for just being in this wonderful group of people that it just warms my heart to feel the camaraderie, even without speaking. I give great thanks for that energy that flows through each one, that energy that reaches out in love and accepts love. knowing it's all backed by the one thing we call God, the one thing we called Allah. Whatever our name is, we know we're all in this together, and thank you, God. And so it is. Reverend Sue, you've got an interesting title. The Genius of the And. We'll see.
Oh. What'd you do to it, Nadine? You've got Michael Beckwith charge. Good morning, everyone. Oh, thank you, Nadine, for sharing truth, but sharing your heart so vulnerably and honestly. What's that?
She just remembered what she wanted to share. One other thing I was going to say.
You can come when you come up to sing your song. You can finish your story. How's that? How's that? I just get a kick out of the 360 band, and you know how you're getting ready in the morning, and then you come in here and you see that. You're thinking, what was I worried about? I keep checking my own teeth. I want everybody to know, if you're new here, Dick does have all his teeth, but he's got something black on it, and it's just so funny. So funny. Oh, my goodness. We're all going, checking our own. Okay. So I see some new faces here today, and I just welcome you. It's just lovely to share the center and to invite you here and just be a part of the energy that we have. The little boy singing when he pulled those eyeballs down, I thought I would just lose it. So it's just something always surprises you every Sunday. So what we've been talking about all month long has been playing with paradox and looking at paradox from a spiritual point of view. And I have learned a lot myself as I've explored the different titles that the organization has invited us to share with everyone. And so that's why this is called The Genius of the And, because last week we talked about the tyranny of the or, if we're looking at this or that. And now we're looking at this and that. So I had a birthday last week, and I got this card from Sylvia. And I always thought, there's this person on here, I'll leave the card out, but I always thought, when am I going to look like that? And I'm pretty sure probably now I'm older than that. But there's this image of elder that I have always carried all my life, and it looked like this person. But there's sort of a paradox here, and this is the senility prayer, and I just wanted to share it with you. You might have heard it. Grant me the senility to forget the people I never liked anyway, and the good fortune to run into the ones I do, and the eyesight to tell the difference. Right? I know. Happy birthday, you guys, too. It just made me laugh because that is a paradox in itself. And when I saw Lawana, she walked in here and she kind of sat there, bounced there. Then she went here, and I'm thinking, man, that looks like Lawana, but she's so young. And then she comes up, and I'm going, is it her? And there she is. So if you get a chance, if you knew Lawana when she was here, she's here just for the day, and then she's off again to Maui. So just lovely. Okay, so the Wandering Through the Paradox Challenge as we continue this. Like I said, those two views, this or that, and now recognizing perhaps this week, I invited you last week to kind of look, how's that working for you? Because it's a trap. It's a trap that we find ourselves in. And we mostly find ourselves in it when we feel the discontent going on inside of us. So as we get more and more comfortable with this idea, we're starting to look really deeply and holding close to our heart the liberating influence of looking through the paradox by joining the two sides. with the idea of and. So that explains the title of this, and it's inviting us to find a solution. What is another way to look at what's going on? Can I see this in a new way, in a third way? Much of the messaging that has come to us lands on us from dealing with the various perspectives that we hold and have influenced us as we've tried to solve our dilemmas through a lifetime. But the messaging here that Centers for Spiritual Living is really challenging us with is the spiritual evolution by accepting paradox in your life and in your mindset. And this is really big, because when you start to wrestle with paradox, you realize, well, I'm just comfortable in the way I think, the way I am, and who I am. So there's this beautiful quote from Hannah Inham, and she wrote Wired for Authenticity, and she speaks directly to this. Authenticity is not possible without embracing the and within us. Our mind likes to categorize things into neatly labeled boxes. Am I right, or is she right? So let's stretch our minds to I can be right, and so can she. Embracing the and is yoga for the brain. When we train ourselves to hold paradoxes by stretching ourselves out of the boxes our minds created in the first place, we stretch into new possibilities and adapt more quickly in a fast-changing world. I just love that. We stretch our minds. Because you think about just that expression, oftentimes, if we bump into whatever is a controversy for us, usually we contract our mind to hold on to what we think is the truth. But this is inviting us, stretch our minds. So this message says it all. I don't really have much more to say about it. We're invited to take a new look at how we're processing any information that comes our way. And an example that I wanted to share with you that jumped out at me this week in particular was relevant to what we're talking about today, because we've all sat with the heartache this week of the shooting that happened in Maine. And I read this about the congressman, Jared Goldman. And he spoke this to the residents of Lewiston, Maine, and to across the nation. We've all been grieving this, but recognizing that the loss of at least the 18 people and the injuring of so many in that shooting once again leads our heart to wonder, why is this happening and what can we do? But this tragedy led this congressman, Jared Golden, to change his mind about his opposition to many kinds of gun control. Representative Golden asked the people of Lewiston for forgiveness. I think that's big first. I really honor him for that. This time has come for me to take responsibility for this failure. I now call on Congress to ban assault rifles. So bringing this up might even cause you to wrestle with which side you've been loyal to. But think about it very carefully. It took courage to do that. Representative Golden wasn't swinging to another side. He just said, okay, now, I do understand. And I'm not going to ban all guns, but I'm looking at the alternative solution that has been knocking on everyone's door to this. So it's a start. And I invite you to look always in this next week. It'll happen before you know it. Some of the emotional triggers that you might have, where you dig in your heels. No, I'm so right. I am so right on this. On this I am right. So we take this moment to look at what polarizing idea has you in that box. And where can you stretch your heart and your mind to find a possibility of good that might benefit all beings by just looking across the aisle to see, is there another way? Can we come together in another way of looking at things? And I'm going to take it even deeper when we bring in Earnest Holmes, the founder of our teaching, because this is an evolved spiritual wisdom that he shares. Let us face the future without fear. Let us realize if the world is healed of war and brought into peace, it won't have been because guns were bigger or there were more of them. Let us pray for peace and make our hearts, our intellect, our soul be ready to receive and embrace it even before it comes. Let us, in the stillness of our own soul, go back to the inevitable presence, which is peace. Proclaim the peace, which is the power at the heart of God now. Earnest Holmes. So this opportunity, we all come here to share our stories together. That's what's so lovely about the social hall afterwards, is to not only share what's happened to you during the week, but to meet somebody new and to invite the conversations, and maybe even come into a conversation of someone that feels opposite than you, but to see even how that fits. This is a safe place. So the overall science of mind principle that we ride upon here is that we believe in this one mind that we look at, and we can name it as God or as the divine, as nature, as spirit, whatever you hold most endearing to your heart, which has led you on your journey. But we believe in this intelligence overriding everything. Our statements believe this, that this universal spirit, which is God, operates through this one mind, this one universal mind, which is the law of God, and we are surrounded by the creation and the creative mind that this is, that receives the impress of all of our thoughts and acts upon it. That's heady, but when you put it in your heart, it becomes what you realize you are experiencing. One of the ministers, Reverend Chris Ashley, had written some notes about what is important in this particular message today that is important to share. And I read her words and I thought, I can't say it any better. And so I'm going to share a couple of things that she brought my awareness to, and also realizing that in this movement, in this new thought teaching, this is the thinking that in that one mind, as we collectively find ourselves moving in this greater direction for a world that works for all, that all the paradoxes that we see in the world, in their totality, all of it is an aspect of the one. That means that all the problems, the challenges, the polarities, the either-or thinking, the suffering, and the ways the world isn't currently working must also be aspects of that one mind. Realizing the truth that there's no separation that allows us to open our minds, stretch our minds to a greater understanding of the world and embrace this genius of and thinking. So we're at the horizon of a whole new way. If we accept the idea, I have a creative mind, and if we're encouraged to look at the world of our own internal beliefs and thoughts, then we're encouraged to look again then out at the world of what we're manifesting, what is mirroring back to us. What have we created? What is the mental equivalent? What's looking back at us? Yesterday we had the really fun event of Spirit and Soup, and we did, a couple of us, Sandy Foley and Charlie, did a healing balance on everybody, and then they came and saw me in the corner, and we talked about energy, known as in the chakra world. But a lot of times the people were on the table first, then they came to see me, but they had an area that was most challenged. And that most challenged one on most of them was the very root of their being. And yet, I knew the lives of each one of those people were rooted in caring for the earth, loving the earth, being with nature. But I realized we're so vulnerable to what's going on in the world that fear has shaken us at our roots. What's going to happen? What is all this about? What's my part in it? And we all soul search those questions. And I am so determined that I will look at the news, and I will look at the suffering, and I will weep with the people that are weeping. But then I know our spiritual journey is to rise up. And just as Earnest Holmes is saying, no peace at all cost. No matter what you're seeing out there, no peace. And as collectively we continue to be chanting into the universe, into the ethers, there is peace. There is peace upon this planet. There is peace in theirs. There is peace in the hearts of all beings. There is resolution unfolding here. There is a healing happening here. All of the things, just like Nadine said, when we start just shouting in our cars on our way to whatever we're doing, whatever we're feeling, that we uproot the distressing thoughts and move them to the divine thoughts. That's deep, out loud prayer, living out loud. That's the genius of all of this. So we're here at this place, engaging now in new possibilities, dropping the either-or mindset. That alone is going to be so helpful. The yin-yang symbol that we're so used to seeing. Oh, there's that. I like that. I'd like that as a tattoo. It's so important because it's a paradox all in itself. It's got the light and the dark, and it just keeps interchanging. It's a beautiful blend. So seeing light within dark and dark within light. Look deeper at whatever appears to be opposite. This is the yin-yang from Confucianism. That's hard to say. The yin-yang, male, female, strong, weak, rigid, tender, heaven, earth, light, dark, thunder, lightning, cold, warmth, good, evil. The interplay, that's life. Opposites, opposite principles. That is our universe. It's a universe of opposites. We're trying to control it. I want it my way. I want it this way. So again, Chris Ashley, her understanding. She says, Earnest Holmes was very good at holding the paradoxes in his mind, creating the genius of Anne. He said, it is popular belief that those who practice this science are a class of people who declare that everything is perfect, when, as a matter of fact, everything in the objective experience of race is not perfect and far from being perfect. Now, I love that honesty of Earnest Holmes, just declaring that. So the popular idea of the practice of this spiritual science, that's a misconception that we're just not seeing what's going on out in the world. A religious scientist is one who assures themselves, is not one that assures themselves that wrong is right and evil is good, and that limitation is freedom, that bondage is liberty, or that sickness is health. You can see the opposites. They do not claim that our experience is an illusion, but they do make the claim that behind, here's just the important part, behind the, and I lost my place and it's the important part, but that means I've got your attention. Behind the phenomena of human and material existence, behind the slow and persistent processes of evolution, this is where Emerson comes in, one mind common to all people. They claim that this mind, that mind that we're talking about, the one great mind, is perfect, and we all have access to that. We're all a part of that. Now, Earnest Holmes understood that we can see from both perspectives simultaneously, and our objective is real, and that there is one mind back of all things. So that's when I'm saying peace is always just hovering. We're just living in peace. So we walk in that knowing. We walk in that with an absolute sense of stepping up to create a world that works for all. So finding that this and might just be outside your comfort zone, because you have to let go of certainty. You have to embrace and enter the paradox. And then we find that and every time we release our attachment to an old paradigm, and we step into a new way of being, we are called to embrace the and in everything that we do to support one another in shifting our thinking and standing in one mind, one heart, one truth, one love. That's how we move forward. Oh, there's a lot with that. It feels so incredibly heady to me. But if we're trying in our world these days to learn about inclusivity and diversity, sometimes people just come up with a blank stare at all. What does all those words mean, and why is that important to me? But the paradoxical mind play is the very alternative that we need to challenge our life, to challenge our thinking, to challenge the places we've gotten just way too comfortable. And yes, it's vulnerable, but it leads us to a truth. And time and again, I know in all our hearts, I've counseled so many people, prayed with so many people, we all just want the truth. So, geez, it's so uncomfortable at times, but if we can allow ourselves to realize, I am moving in truth, I am moving to a higher truth, and this allows me to explore all sides and all possibilities. So here's where Earnest Holmes again embraces this idea, and I'm going to invite Susan up because she read something at open mic. So Susan, if you could come on up here and stand with me. Ernest Holmes said, "The true healing is revealing the truth. There's no stagnation in spirit, nor should there be any in our idea of spirituality. To be spiritual is to create. Spirit is alive, conscious, aware, and active." And Rumi, in order to understand the dance, we must be still. And in order to truly understand stillness, one must dance. I want you to now listen to the beautiful words of Susan as she expresses her concept of paradox to you. Thank you for sharing.
For a minute there, I thought she was going to say that I was going to dance. I got a little nervous. I was looking back at a poem I had written years ago about my education. And this is part of the reflection, thinking about that poem. When I think about what we hear and see and witness as children, and what develops in our child's mind, filtered through our child eyes into the image of how we come to view ourselves. Those years of our somebody training, as Ram Dass would say, our parents want us to be somebody, our teachers want us to be somebody. Everyone in our young lives goes about the work of training us to be who they think we should be, somebody. And here is the paradox, the opposite or dual nature, as I was thinking, as we've been exploring this month. The other side of somebody is nobody. And it seems to me that this is a kind of evolution. Some of us may have been taught or learned as young children, intentionally or otherwise, that we are nobody, meaning we are not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not fill in the blank enough, we're not enough to be a somebody. And then
we spend our lives trying to be a somebody, trying to prove we are somebody, until we come full circle and realize we have all along been both somebody and nobody, as we are a part of a much greater design, a much bigger picture, where somebody and nobody are one because we are all part of the great universe unfolding, the great universe of divine connection and love, where there is no boundary between somebody and nobody, because we are all just energy. Each of us a wave of energy moving with or resisting the one great source of divine energy where there are no boundaries. And our somebodyness or nobodyness is merely an entertainment we create in our mind's eye, and or a part of our education as fellow humans on this journey, both walking ourselves and each other home. She's just amazing. You know, I just value so much of what she brings to our center. So as Judy gets ready, there's one thing I was going to show you, if I can do this right, because I put it on a piece of paper, and I wrote 2 sentences on this. And on one side, I wrote the sentence. So this says, the sentence, I have to read it to make sure it's a paradox. The sentence on the other side of this card is true. Flip it. The sentence on the other side of this card is false. And this says, that's what it says, well, if the second sentence is true, then the first sentence is false. Here you end up moving into an indefinite changing of ideas, side A to B on the card. But if the sentence you first wrote is false, as the second sentence claims, then the second sentence would also be false. Thus, both sides, both sentences are right and wrong at the same time. Do you? I was going, huh? Oh my God, it does work. It works. Anyway, let's do a prayer to support this. Oh, my first prayer is, thank God October's over and paradox thinking. Now, this has been a stretch for me, I have to say. But I bless your attention and honor your showing up here today and supporting us all as we move through paradoxes in life. So, Judy, we'll start tickling the keys and let it tickle your heart. And let us just lighten up into the oneness. So much heaviness weighs in our hearts of concern for the world, but we also realize that we have the chance and the opportunity to lighten up as well, to be deeply centered in love in such a way that we allow the true and pure qualities of joy, understanding, compassion, forgiveness, to help lead us forward into humanity at large. To be ambassadors of this truth in such a way that we make a difference just by showing up and being real and being willing to take ourselves to those vulnerable places inside of our own soul that allows truth to be revealed, that allows us to reach across and hold each other's hands in the times of sorrow, and the times to also then applaud our hands when we welcome a joyous moment of release. I give thanks for the 360 Band, what they bring to us every time they arrive here. They open our hearts the way no words can, but music opens us, and we celebrate something deeper together. I celebrate this community and the new people showing up and saying, I want a life that is healed and whole and perfect and filled with love. And we realize we hold each other wherever we are, hand in hand and heart to heart. We lead ourselves forward in a world that seems so incredibly confusing, but we stretch our heart wide and deep, and we just say, welcome in, because we're awakening to a healing happening here, and humanity is in our hearts and leading the way for us to know the divine in a deeper, more soulful, more pure, more real, more lasting way. I give thanks to all of you, to the divine, and to what we have here. Thank you, God, and so it is. Thank you. 360. Thank you, Judy.
Just a little addendum to part B, I guess you could say, that I had thought to share. I've been here a long time, and we've had different ministers, and there were some I didn't resonate with as much, and I wouldn't come, and didn't feel good about that. And talking, incidentally, meeting a regular who said she was here, supporting things, supporting the energy. And it made me think.
Speak up, Mindy.
It made me think, what would my experience be if this church wasn't here? And I realized, even though I wasn't resonating with that particular minister that much, this place is important and is way greater than any one minister. There is an energy here, a sacredness that's created from all the love that's gone before and that is still here, nurturing and supporting it. And so that was my little insight for myself.
This next song that we're going to perform, it was done in the church, I think it was 1983, when Bodie Wagner played he's a folk singer, and he played a concert in Reading and played this song at the church. I've loved it ever since. I did sound for him and was at the concert. And I might say, let me add, it's a bit of a struggle for me to do this song. Partly the stroke that I had a year ago still affects my ability to play music. So, anyways, I'm going to give it a go.
Thank you.
It's called Fall. Well, some days the feelings grow stronger. Sometimes the right ways, sometimes wrong, and some days that old road seems longer till you take a hard left and get lost in a song. Sometimes the getting there is half of the going. And sometimes you can't go at all. And oh no, that cold wind is blowing. Crops have been growing so healthy and tall, and we now reap what once we were sowing and buttoned up tight for the coming of fall. Oh, now you choose which way your winds blow. Some will bring sunshine, some will bring rain, and it's old news. And do words the heroes and songs that get written, but nobody sings. Just like a lady come lately then took off, just like a bow down the road, and you don't have to be packaged into someone that nobody knows, and you don't have to fear sorrow. Oh, just look towards tomorrow and lighten your load. Sometimes the getting there is most of the going, and sometimes you can't go at all. And oh no, that old wind is blowing. Crops have been growing so healthy and tall, and we now what once we were sowing and buttoned up tight for the coming of fall.
I'd like to invite the ushers forward, please. As we prepare to give our offering this morning, our hearts are filled with love and appreciation, since what is offered here is for our spiritual well-being. We're filled with gratitude, knowing that life stays in balance because we know the truth. As we give, we receive.
This song has a little refrain that you're welcome to join us in, and you'll pick it up, I trust. G. I'm sorry, G.
That'll work good. I love little baby ducks, old pickup trucks, slow-moving trains, and rain.
Here it comes. I love leaves in the wind. Not yet. Pictures of my friends, birds of the world, and squirrels. Okay, here. And I love you too. Once more. Oh, I love you too.
I love ice cream all the time, songs that never rhyme, warm sunny days, and pizza.
Well, I love little puppy smells, oh, beaches full of shells, playing silly games, and dirt. Oh, and I love you too. Let's hear it. Yes, I love you too. Oh, I love you too.
Oh, that was wonderful. I give great thanks for the blessed donations received in the offering this morning and those that arrived during the week. I know each dollar supports this spiritual family in so many ways as we grow together, pray together, and give thanks for all that this center has been blessed with today and always, and so it is. The little piggy we had here on the podium, we have a dozen more in the back waiting to be adopted. And it doesn't cost anything. You just adopt it and throw your spare change in it during the year, and then one time a year, you come and we celebrate with pigs in a blanket and good music and lots of fun. And so I invite you to adopt a piggy today. Just take it home with you. No cost involved. All right. We're going to have a closing song. I just feel I have to share something. I can't. When I was divorced and found this center, I learned to be comfortable with myself. I'm okay. I don't need some relationship. I don't need anything. So I went to Luana, and my mother was dealing with cancer, and I said, "Can you do a prayer for my mom?" She did. So she said, "So how's your love life?" I said, "Don't have one, don't care, don't need one." She said, "Well then, I'm going to do a treatment to God because your soulmate is waiting for you to feel so comfortable with yourself that you're ready." And wow, 5 days later, my soulmate walked into my life here. And we've been together ever since. And I'll never forget you. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
All right.
Check this out.
Okay.
People here are real and real crazy. This is our last of the Halloween, one time a year.
Oh, yeah. Well, I saw the thing coming out of the sky. It had one long horn and one big eye. I commenced to shaking and I said, "Ooh-wee, It looks like a purple people eater to me. It was a one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater.
One-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater.
A one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater. Sure looked good to me. Well, he came down to earth and he lived in a tree. I said, Mr. Purple People Eater, don't eat me. I heard him say in a voice so gruff,
I wouldn't eat you 'cause you're too tough.
was a one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater.
One-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater.
A one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater. Sure looks strange to me. I said, Mr. Purple People Eater, what's your line? He said, eating purple people and it sure is fine. That's not the reason that I came to land.
I wanna get a job in a rock and roll band.
Well, bless my soul, rock and roll, flying purple people eater.
Pigeon-toed, undergrowth, flying purple people eater.
One-eyed, one-horned, it was a people eater. What a sight to see. Well, he swung from the tree and he lit on the ground. He started to rock, really rocking around. It was a crazy ditty with a swinging tune.
Oh, wop, ba loo ba bim bam boom.
Oh, one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater.
One-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater.
A one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater. Sure looks strange to me. Well, he went on his way, then what do you know? I saw him last night on a TV show. Was blowing it out, really knocking him dead. Playing rock and roll music through the hole in his head. One-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater. One-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater. One-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater. Sure look good to me.
That was fun. It's fun to get up, and when they were doing the Monster Mash, my feet hurt so much, but they were doing that. I thought I could still do it sitting down. So you guys, go enjoy this day. The social hall is filled with wonderful delights for you. And again, I welcome those that are new to come forward so we can meet one another. And I'm just going to wear this smile all day because it's just that kind of day. You've created it. So go out and enjoy it. Thank you so much, so much.